Anna, what did you do when you came back?
I thought it burned. Oh, it's in the car.
Well, I heard about the fella you've been dancing with all over the neighborhood. So why didn't you ask me, baby? Or didn't you think I could? Well, I know that the boogaloo is out of sight, but the shing-a-ling's a thing tonight. But if that was you and me out there, baby, I would have shown you how to do it right. Do it right. Uh-huh. Do it right. Do it right. Do it right. Twist it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Have it go loopy-loop,
So you got these were my dad's. As soon as I saw them on the table, I grabbed them. The greatest man I know. Give me a sec here. Sorry. Not a good way to start. I had phoned a close friend of my dad's, Mr. Newman, to inform him of this passing. And at the end of the conversation, he said to me, you know, your father was the greatest man I had. Thank you, Gary. Is that good? Sorry.
It's all good.
All right, anyways, hello everyone. On behalf of my family, welcome and thank you for coming. My name is Matthew. I'm one of the middle children. My father, Diamond Terry Almas, who passed away November 5th, early Sunday morning. He was 84 years old. Yesterday we had a small ceremony with just the kids and to witness the cremation of the remains. The celebration today will be a dry one in honor of my dad's involvement with AA. He was very proud of that. He spent a lot of years helping others along the way, and so we wanted to support that here. Please feel free to help yourself to any of the refreshments that we have out front there. It's nice and light. It's all been provided by the caterers. The rooted table. Our thanks go out to Hillary and her crew. Thank you very much. The slideshow was built by our family executive here, Diamond Jr., my little brother. And the music you hear is a compilation of the songs that we heard Dad play over the years from his favorite artists. My sister, Mary, my little sister, wherever she is, she will follow me and say a few words. And after that, if anybody wants to come up and say anything, Greg as well, my brother, my older brother, or son, anyways, you're going to come up and talk and say a few things. And anybody else who wants to, feel free. It'll be an open mic. I'm going to keep it nice and light. Okay, let me begin. He was born February 18th, 1939, to my Swedish grandmother, Eva Carolina Reinhardt, and from my great-grandfather, Harry Almas, in St. Paul's Hospital, right here in Vancouver. On his birth certificate, reads Harry Diamond Reynolds Almas. I personally didn't know this until we saw the original birth certificate. I never knew his first name was Harry, so he went by his second name, Diamond. But at some point in time, I remember having a conversation with him about it because he was explaining my middle name, which is Harry. And I didn't know where that came from. That was obviously my grandpa. The name Diamond came from his father. His grandfather. He is survived by 6 children. The oldest, Joy, unfortunately, who couldn't make it. She's sick. She lives in Enderby. She's very ill with the flu. She couldn't make it down. And also with her daughter, my niece, and her granddaughter, my grandniece. They all are sick up in Enderby, so they couldn't make it. Anyways, there was Joy, there's Greg, my brother, my oldest brother there, Matthew, I'm the middle, Mary, my little sister, Diamond Jr., he's right here, and Nicholas, who couldn't make it as well, he's back. He is also survived by his 2 previous spouses, Irene Wallace Nee Lang and Catherine Doyle. As you all know, I work in the film business. And as you know, there was a strike going on from the writers and the actors, which lasted most of the year. And so it gave me a great opportunity to spend a lot of time with my dad. I took full advantage of that. It was really cool. He was close by. He lived a few blocks from me, 4 blocks in fact, and made it easy for him to walk down the hill to come for a visit. Or we would go for coffee and I'd walk up there. It was great. You could always come down for lunches, dinners, Rachel would cook. Love that. We would go for coffee at least 3 or 4 times a week. In the summer, sometimes every day. Sometimes we'd meet at the cafes, or I would just roast him from his apartment. It was great. He loved to walk and talk around the neighborhood, especially up his past there. He kind of grew up in Kitsilano as well. We would walk to the 49th parallel, sit on the chairs outside in the sun, talk to all the people and all the dogs that would come by. One of our favorite spots was the Italian Cafe, Casarecchio, which is up on Broadway, also pretty close. And I would take him by the Greek Orthodox, the old building. It's called Kitsilano Neighborhood House now, but it was the old Greek Orthodox church where he was baptized. Which was cool. I never knew that until he told me. And then, over coffee, he would relate certain stories when he was a child. Growing up in English Bay, part of his youth in Kitsilano, a lot of the antics he get up to with his buddies. Some of them I can't tell. I don't think it would be appropriate right now. Anyway, some of them I can't. So I've got a few here. My dad started life growing up in English Bay. He started school at Lord Roberts Elementary School in the West End, very close to where he grew up on Comox and Devon Street. My grandparents, they had a store called the Hippocampus. It was a Greek deli, seafood deli. It's kind of cool, right on the corner of Comox and Devon. And they lived right above. They lived in the house. It was actually an old house converted. Anyways, they lived above. They all worked hard-working family. They all pitched in. Dad would be washing the dishes or tending the till. As the regular customers came in to get their fish and chips or prawns, maybe calamari. Hey Dan, you better run. Sorry guys. Hamburger. Anyways.
Sorry,
okay. It all, the Hippocampus became very popular in the neighborhood. Dad got to know a lot of people. I guess that's where he learned his people skills. Very polite to everyone he met. My grandparents, his parents, were very adamant that he was well-dressed and well-mannered at all times. English Bay was his playground. He would tell me stories about how him and his buddies would play on the pier. There used to be a pier in English Bay, which burned down. But they would play on that. They would sneak in the Denman Arena. Back in the day when the Denman Arena was down at the mouth of Stanley Park. They would watch a show. They would sneak in, watch a show, get chased out by the guys who worked there. They did that all the time, as much as they could. Then it got a little. Then they would swim at Crystal Pool in the winter. They'd swim in the bay, English Bay there in the summer. They would spend a lot of time at the beach, but always try to stay as clean as possible. And if he ever got dirty, he would change his clothes before Grandma caught him. She was always thinking of his image for the business in the small community of Denver. He played a lot of sports in school, was very athletic, played on the ball teams at King Edward, got into scuffles with all the visiting teams, but seemed to be a thing in those days. Nothing much, as he would say, just goofy kids. As he and his teens, the buddies and him would try to slip into the speakeasies. One of them was the Penthouse, owned by the Filipponi brothers. It had a boxing gym in the basement.
You're good.
Anyways, it had a boxing gym in the basement of the Penthouse. And one of his dad's buddies loved boxing. So he would go with them during the day and he would watch them spar. He got to know the owners. And they would go into the back door late at night, way too young to go through the front, and hang out doing odd jobs with his buddies. Cleaning glasses, mopping up, all the late night, getting to know some of the characters. One time it was raided. Dad remembers climbing over the window with one of the Philippines pushing him so he wouldn't get caught. It got to the point where he spent a lot of time there. Grandma found out, and that was it. No more stories. Not wanting to tell anyone. They did well. And this is when Grandpa started Seven Seas Restaurant. Converted the North Vancouver Ferry. They also moved on up to the University of Downlands. Dad went to a new school, University Hill, or U Hill, and again played all the sports. This is where he met my mother. He would tell me he enjoyed rugby, football, mostly football, and so joined the Vancouver Almas. Played rugby for them. He did well in football and earned some scholarships to an American college, and off he went. Spent a year in Bremerton playing American ball, but the family business was calling. So he came home, and then he started his own family. It was 1959. Joy was born in April of 1960, and Dad had a new kid for the next 3 years. Pumping him up. Dad became an alderman in the city of North Vancouver in 1968 and 1969. Is this somebody's phone?
It's just a
He became an alderman in 1968, 69. That was the start of his political career. And at the same time, my parents split up. So then we would spend our Sundays with Dad. We spent a lot of time in Stanley Park, exploring the trails around Beaver Lake, the miniature train. Sometimes we would rent bikes, cruise the seawall. Dad would get tandems, take turns riding with one of us kids. It was always magical. We just visit the zoo. Peruse the artworks for sale that they used to set up at the south end of the zoo. I remember that. It was always very magical. We had season passes for the aquatic center, always the whales, always. So on rainy days, we would explore the many different species, never missed any of the exhibits. We ended up knowing the place like the back of our hand. We were there a lot. It was great. Loved it. He always was thinking of his kids, maybe too much at times, to the point of sacrificing the right thing to do in lieu of doing something that was fun. He loved taking us to movies. The Pink Panthers, the James Bonds, Carry On Gangs, all the Disney movies. One time, this is a good story. One time he took his kids to Disneyland, 1968, right at the beginning of school for me, grade 1, right at Halloween. We fly down to LA, and instead of cabbing to the park, we take a helicopter. One of those big double props, converted from the military, had red velvet curtains on the portals. It was amazing. They came out and they let me stand over the pilots as we would fly over Disneyland at night with all the lights on, the magic lights. The monorail was glowing as it sped around the track. We sat there and hovered, watched all this going on. It was just like, what is going on? And then it landed right at the hotel where we were staying. You know, it was pretty amazing. I'll never forget riding with Dad on the Pirates of the Caribbean. So cool. So when I had a chance to work on the movie, I jumped at it. I work in the film business, so I got a chance to stand on the Black Pearl right at the helm, took some photos, showed Dad, and he said, "Remember the time?" That was good. As kids, we would spend a lot of time at the restaurant, always busy. I remember Dad would introduce us kids to people we knew and or the celebrities that would visit. One time Ringo Starr was there with a group of people. I knew who he was, mostly from the movie Dad took us to, The Magic Christian. And he took me to the table and he introduced me to him. He was very proud of his kids.
You're okay.
Sorry. I got my first bike. Sorry, let me see.
You don't know how to eat this stuff. No, it's good.
I know. Anyways, he got me my first bike. It was a green Mustang with a bananas training, of course. And the first ride I had, Dad pushed me around the buffet table at the restaurant. Yeah, pretty cool. It wasn't open at the time, it was daytime. It was very cool. My dad was the coolest guy. He would drive out to the house in Grand Boulevard in North Vancouver on the Sundays in his morning 4+4. It's a little two-seater sports car. Anyways, he would fit all 4 of us kids in there. And we would go for a walk in the Stanley Park. Usually Mary and I would be in the little compartment behind the seats. There was a little space about 2 feet wide by 1 feet wide. Maybe a little wider than that, but anyways, so we would go in the back. And just enough room for the 2 of us. And the wood floorboard had come loose a bit on the side. So every bump we would get a glimpse of the road beneath. It was frightening for Mary. I remember they would get onto the side, and I'd be like, no way, you're over there. So anyways, you can imagine the fun we had crossing the Lionsgate Bridge to get to this thing had no shocks. There was no shock absorbers. This was seat of the pants car. Oh my God. Anyways, he'd always have some cool jazz on. He had an 8-track player in there. You'd listen to Herb Alpert, the Tijuana Brass, Oscar Peterson, Ella Fitzgerald. We always had the music on. It was really cool. He loved sports, encouraged us kids to play as much as possible. And one time, I was joining baseball. I guess it was about 12 or 13. I needed a glove. He got so excited. He said, I have a glove for you. It was mine when I was your age. Oh. So proud of him. He presented me to this glove. And when I looked at it, I was so disappointed. He kind of turned and he goes, all right, I'll get you a new glove. Anyways, he cherished that glove. He loved it. He had it always. He always had it. I have it now. I've got it. It's in my treasure box. Anyways, Dad remarried in about and added 2 more brothers, Diamond Jr. and Nicholas. Then Dad got a grandson, Skyler, and a granddaughter, Emily, unfortunately she is not here, and a step-granddaughter, Spencer Lee. She's here as well. Oh, there she is. And my partner, Rachel. He was in heaven. He was surrounded by more kids than he could love and spoil. There he was, blessed with a great-granddaughter, Maeve, from Emily. Unfortunately, Joy and Emily and Maeve, they're all at home, so they're all too sick. Dad loved Rachel and her daughter, Spencer, but always asked about them in every conversation I had. He really enjoyed spending time with us. Rachel would take him home cooked meals while he was in the hospital. He said to me he hated and was scared of the hospital. But what Rachel did would give him strength. The food wasn't very good there, so Rachel made it better. She would work with the dietitian to bring him food so he could eat and give him the energy he needed to get better. It made the difference. His recovery was amazing. He loved spending time with Rachel and her family and was looking forward to doing so again this Christmas. He will be missed there as well. Dad was always a very kind and gracious soul. I can't recall him ever raising his voice to anybody. I never would hear him talk badly about anyone, ever. A well-respected businessman in the community, always involved with civic functions, always the great host, and at the restaurant, greeting everybody, welcome aboard. Hardworking, he was the first one there and the last one to leave. He would drive the staff that didn't drive home at night. He always looked after the staff as best he could. That was his first priority. He was introduced to the Restaurant Hall of Fame. We were all very proud of that. Kept a lot of mementos of the restaurant, pics of the ship, parts of the ship, to always have a reminder of the great times. We have those now, and we will cherish them as he did. Some of them right there on the table. Dad was working in the Starlight Casino in the West. He would tell me stories of his love and enjoyment working with the people. Loved them greatly. And the regulars there made a lot of friends. He would play Santa Claus throughout his life in many different functions, giving his gift of kindness to more people around this time of year. Did it forever. Did it a lot. He was a little guy at school. He would play Santa Claus across the street. When he would walk down the street, he would say hello to every person he passed. Stop, pat every dog, and window shop along the way. He liked doing that. We'd go for lunch, and it was always a fight for the bill. When he couldn't drive anymore, he would love to take the bus. He enjoyed talking to the people. Sometimes he would just read his book. He loved his books. Oh boy, did he love his books. He would read 4 books every time, always describing them as we had done. I think at one time he possessed over 1,000 books. I'm not joking. I had to clear them all. Twice. It wasn't just once. It was a couple times. He would highlight passages in them and would always have a dictionary close by so he could look up a word he wasn't sure about. He was an avid reader. A very intelligent, well-read, kind, generous, and a very respected person. We will miss you greatly. You are the greatest man I know. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Maddie. Just looking around this room, looking at all these faces. Look at all these people. And Dad was an old guy. You know, he's a very old guy. A lot of his peers have passed already. And this is quite a testament. And on a snowy December, Saturday, that we should have so many beautiful people here to remember Zion and to enjoy remembering him with each other. And if you look around at each other, look at all this great diversity of ages and people, different cultures. This is Diamond. He was the kindest man I had ever known. He epitomized kindness. And as Matt had mentioned, we tried to make him say something nasty. You know, oh yeah, what about that? You know, maybe they're having bad things. One thing, yeah, no, not good. But he was very, very gracious, and he always took great care of his deportment, even as his eyesight failed and his abilities changed. And little slip-on shoes. And I do remember one time coming from dinner at Gregory's house, and I was helping him to my car. And this was just a few months ago, I guess in the summer or fall. And he was wearing the cutest little jeans, with his little slip-on shoes, with his little shirt and his little check jacket. He just looked so cute. And he stepped out, and two of the neighbor ladies were walking by with their dog, and they looked at him and they went, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. We talked about that a little bit. He loved it. He really loved that. But he was the epitome of kindness and graciousness in every action. He was somebody who could have easily been taken advantage of because he just would assume the best of everyone. And that was a beautiful quality, and I really respect that, and I love that. And I just have a couple of quick things to say from my sister. Wrote out something and asked that I would say it. She is homesick with pneumonia, actually. She said, our dad was a gentleman, generous, charming, and kind. He genuinely enjoyed meeting people, and he displayed great loyalty to those he considered a friend. I don't remember him ever saying a mean thing to me or anyone else. I do remember he had a lovely voice and always smelled good. I'll miss that. He loved animals, especially birds, Christmas, jazz music, and us kids. And us kids really loved him. That was from Joy. And then Emily, and the subject on her email was to read at Papa's funeral. I'll always remember the big smile, the twinkle in his eye, and arms outreached for a hug every time we saw each other. As long as I can remember, I was always excited to go see Papa, to skip down the dock to the boat, visit the hedgehog, and feed the fish, hear ghost stories about the 7 Seas, and get one of his famous hugs. Or more recently, to talk about books, the farm, and of course my daughter, his great-granddaughter Minnie. He was always curious about what we were up to and unerringly supportive. He was so generous, gentle, and kind, and And I hope that I emulate that throughout my life. I will always cherish my memories of Papa, and he will forever hold a special place in my heart. I miss you, Papa. And that was Alma. And I think that's kind of the theme here, is the kindness and the gentleness, the graciousness. He feels like he's from a different era, and I know when I talk with my brothers, we'll say things like, I'm really going to try and be like Dad here. I'm going to think about what Dad would do here, and his bigger heart and his greater angels. He was always doing with greater angels. And that's Papa. Yes.
One of the other kids.
There's so many of them. I know there's lots of kids.
Is there any children here? Hey, hello everyone, I'm Gregory. Didn't think it was going to go that way. I love my father. And apparently, I was in AA and cried. People about Jesus Christ. Anyways, I don't think that I've got much more to say than what my siblings have already said. My father really was a wonderful man. I'm going to listen. Thank you for waiting. It really says something about all these people coming out to, I don't know half of you, it seems like, come from somewhere. It's a testament to my father's character. Very collected people. People were drawn to him. And largely because he was a kind and gracious person. I don't think it's said enough that he didn't have unkind words for anybody. It was always, like what Mercy said, it was, he just never had anything bad to say about anybody. And I hope that I will take more of that in my own life. Anyways, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. Thank you for coming.
I wanted to mention a little bit about Diamond's kind heart and soft-spoken, kind of very white wolf. But my first job was, Joy told me, she goes, I think you can be a parking lot attendant on a boat. I was like, cool. I think I was 13 or 14, and I thought, my first real job. I went down and talked to Diamond, and he says, no, yeah, you're going to be the bar boy. I was like, bar boy? I cut the lemons, and the waiters would come on and go, say, Jovian Blanc de Blanc, and I got the bottles of wine to give it to them, and the bartender would make the real drinks, and I'd wash the glasses. And it was the greatest thing. I mean, tips and cash money. And one day, Diamond tells me, the liquor order came in. You need to take a two-wheeler, go unload it from the van. So I go up, and the tide was way up, so the thing was like really steep, so I go, shit. And I go up thing, load it up, going down the thing on the dock, and flunk, a case from the top hits the bottom. I thought, oh shit. Pick it up, and as I'm picking it up, it's gushing up the sides. I'm like, oh shit. But I opened it up. It was a case of Canadian Club. I'm like, oh shit. And I put it on and come out, and Diamond comes down, and I said, I dropped a case of Canadian Club, and he's like, okay. And he sucks it up and doesn't yell at me, and he says, what I need you to do, take this mop and the lower deck, where all the laundry room and the junk and stuff is. He goes, I want this floor sparkling. And he goes upstairs, and I thought, I gotta do done right, I don't wanna lose my job. So I grabbed bleach and ammonia and soap and whatever, into a bucket, water, and I'm mopping the floor, and I'm just like gushing water out of my eyes, and either Rena or Maria comes running down from 3 decks up in the kitchen with an apron on her face. And I'm gonna get this floor clean. Next thing you know, North Vancouver Fire Department are there. They had to put the big tubes out of the basement or the lower deck and blow the air out. They had to clear the restaurant. And so not only did I cost them a case of Canadian 12, I cost them like a Friday night business at the boat. So it's probably a few thousands of dollars or whatever. But I was at work the next day, washing glasses and washing diamond. He didn't fire me. So. He was a kind man.
Maybe too kind.
It's not like I was, a teetering member of the team, but that's how good of a guy he was, and he let me stay. I ended up working there for quite a long time, but he was a great guy. And he will be very much missed.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is, this is hard. My name is Paula Rizos. My maiden name is Apostolides. And I can't remember.
Yes.
I know Paula so many years since I've seen all of you. I have the great fortune in my life to have Diamond Almas as my godfather. When my father came here as an immigrant in 1957, he arrived in Lower Lonsdale, and he worked in a little coffee shop at the time. It was number 1 Lonsdale, and it was called the Sugar Bowl Cafe. Didn't have a lot of money, didn't speak any English whatsoever, but one thing he knew is that he had to work hard. Once the Seven Seas was open, he was very fortunate to meet a gentleman named Diamond Almas, and his family. And through the years, my father, who is still alive today, has retired in Greece. He's 88 years old. And they have been friends for 63 years. Right?
Yeah.
It's my godfather.
He's in one of the pictures I saw up there. But I was very fortunate. My kids used to laugh, actually, because there was never a day that I never felt loved. My family was very close. We're still very close ourselves. But Diamond added another layer of love to my life. He never forgot a birthday. I received flowers every birthday, every November 30th for 50 years. I don't think I've ever met a kinder man. I don't think I've met a more generous man and family. I haven't seen Greg or Mersey or Joy or even your mom. I think I saw her many, many years ago. Life goes on, obviously, and I'm fortunate that I'm here, and I'm also fortunate that I got to speak to him. We used to speak all the time, and I got to speak to him about 5 days before his passing. So if there's one thing that I appreciate more than anything is that, and I know the world needs a lot more of it, is people like Diamond. His generosity, his kindness, his humor. My dad will tell you stories that are 63 years old of a young immigrant and a fresh, live Diamond Almas. Two people so different from, very different worlds who were the best of friends. And from me, I'm so sorry. My condolences to the family. From my family, a huge loss. Because he was family to us. And his memory will live with me. I carry his love with me for eternity. So I think we can all say that he touched us somehow. But I was very, very fortunate to be his goddaughter in my life. So thank you.
Hey everybody. We weren't biologically related to Diamond, but he was as family as anyone could ever be in my family. We always called him Uncle Diamond. He was there for a lot of the Christmases growing up, and my earliest formative memories are on the Seven Seas restaurant when we go up to the captain's quarters. And it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And then he's like, yeah, and that's my parrot. And so, being a kid, I go up to the parrot and he's like, oh, it's really friendly, but don't put your fingers in the cage, okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, Uncle Diamond. And the second he turns around, I'm screaming bloody murder, I'm crying, you know, he's calming me down, and he was just, there was no one I've ever met that had ever suited their name better than Diamond. Truly, like, in his soul, in his actions as a person, he was a diamond. Like, I just can't describe to you how much he meant to us growing up. His class and his charm. The last memory I have with Diamond was a few Christmases ago before he got a bit more sick. And I don't tell my mom this, but I went out and I shared a cigarette with him. And, you know, that was, it's not the best thing to have a memory of, but it meant the world to me to do something like that with my Uncle Diamond. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being here and like his wonderful kids putting on this amazing thing for him. He was truly one of a kind. There was no one on this earth, and there probably never will be again, someone like that.
Yeah, and same, I should go first, because now I'm going to cry because of him, but Diamond was a good friend to my mom and dad. He's been a huge part of my life. I always remember sitting on his lap when I was really little and playing with his propeller necklace that he always had, that everybody knows Diamond always wore. And he would always bring dilly bars from Dairy Queen. That was like a staple of our house. Every time he would come over, he would bring us dilly bars. I would just sit with him for hours, play with my guinea pig, with him and my dog. He meant the world to our family, and he was family to us. He was our Uncle Diamond, just like he means so much to everybody else, but he was a true one-of-a-kind person. And yeah, I'll never forget him. I know our family will never forget him. Yeah.
Thank you.
I forgot one thing. I did forget one thing. We did get a memorial bench for Dad, and it's just near the Sylvia Hotel, right where he grew up. It's between Guildford and Chilco. It's not there yet. It'll be there within the next 6 months or so. And it's near the beach. It's up on near the road instead of right, not down on the seawall. And it has a plaque, and the plaque says, "Welcome aboard."
Oh.
And all the best. Yeah. Please visit it. No, I'm holding it. Okay, Skylar. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Maris. Hi, everybody. I'm Skylar. I'm Diamond's grandson, and yeah, tough day today. Miss my grandfather very dearly. Loved him very, very much, and everyone said it. They summed it up. He was just the epitome of kindness. If you looked up kindness in the dictionary or just genuine sincerity, it would be a picture of Diamond. He was the sweetest man that this world ever had. And the memories that I have of him are something that I'll have forever, and I'm so thankful that we did have so many great memories, so many great times growing up, and a million stories, but some things that really stuck with me were when I played soccer as a kid, and I was able to have my soccer team down to the restaurant. We'd have our own little private soccer party, Christmas parties, and Gramps would always have good food for us and all that sort of thing, and there would always be so much fun. The animals, that was always a highlight of my weekends too, be going down to Gramps and being downstairs in the lower level where he lives, and it was like a zoo down there. Hedgehogs, centipedes, tarantulas, birds, dogs, like everything. Seagulls came in, pigeons, whatever you had. He was the animal whisperer, the original animal whisperer for our family, and I think that made a big impact on me. I love animals so much. I have a dog of my own, and have always loved animals. We've always had animals in our family, and just the kindness that he showed every single thing is something that we all try to take in our lives too. And he was a great example for all of us, and so happy to see so many faces here. And the people that he's impacted over his life. And thank you all for being here, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. And thanks to my dad, and Ramsey, Greg, and Ryan, and everybody. And, thanks everyone.
Anybody else? Going once? Any more stories? Thank you all very much. Feel free to hang up. We're gonna be here till about 2:30 maybe at the latest, and we're gonna kick everybody out. Thank you very much.
But the soundtrack is Dad's music.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack.
You bring it to you.